Hello, good people. If you are watching me, you are now watching our inaugural event that we're doing online for the Black Biz Initiative. And this one is called Don't Talk About It, Be About It. So I want to introduce you to the Black Biz Initiative and also myself, my company, and let you just know what we plan on doing. Anytime that you feel like you want to chime in with a question, feel free to go ahead and put it in the chat. We will be checking our comments and our questions, throughout the entire course of what we're going to do today. And this is going to be a good, quick little something to let you know about our initiative here in North Carolina. So, first and foremost, I am Chisa Penix Brown, and I am the chief curator of a company called Give It to the People. Now, that particular company is based in Greensboro, North Carolina, and we started that company about a year or so ago because my husband and I found the need to focus our energies in a company that is about mental wealth, which is getting your mind right and your money right. And throughout this time frame, what we have found is that there is not a lack of talent out there. There are plenty of talented people. And a lot of times those people may not realize all of the talent that they have. They may not be harnessing it properly. And so what we wanted to do was just kind of present you with a little something today so that you would kind of understand our perspective. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up so that you can see. I'm going to share my screen with you really quickly. All right. And we're going to bring this up for you to be able to look at so that you can get an understanding of what we're talking about doing here. All right. So in us sharing, I'm bringing up my presentation that I have here on Canva for you to look at. And I feel like it's an important thing because whenever we're looking at what we plan on doing, I think you have to set an agenda. And so this is a meeting for Black creatives, organizers, leaders, and allies. Now, why is that important? Because a lot of times I think that when we do these initiatives, we really focus on one particular area, and we may not be able to just do that if we want to achieve things in a manner that is going to be most befitting everybody that's in our community. Now, we're not here to service everybody. But what we do with Give It to the People is we do curated conferences around the state. And we decided that, well, listen, what are some of the things that are missing? And what have we been talking to people about over the years that they continually say that they want, but maybe there is a person here, a person there, but there's not really a statewide initiative in order to pull Black people together when they are organizers, creators, leaders, and then also people that are allies to the Black community. Now, it's always a reason why people choose certain things. Now, we know that there's a disparity in the Black community. We know about the history of slavery. We know about the fact that Black people have not been able to get their just due throughout history. And we also know that we tend to come behind in a lot of things because of the fact that parity is not something that truly completely always exists. Now, we can't fix everything. So I don't want you to think that this is like a one-stop shop, fix everything. But what we can do is we can build more Black creators, organizers, and leaders. And so with this initiative, this is what we're talking about doing. Not talking about it, but just being about it. So I'm Chisa Penix Brown, and I have a podcast that is also named Give It to the People. And I also have another popular podcast that's called Real Ass Affirmations because I like to encourage people, empower people, and let them know that sometimes they need to be their own life coach. So I'm also North Carolina's #1 small business facilitator, and I work through the Small Business Center Network, having various clients throughout the network, about 30 different schools, working with private organizations and other colleges, universities, and institutions. And in doing so, that allows me to be able to facilitate these courses that help people to start and grow their businesses. And I focus heavily on social media marketing because I am the type of person that believes strongly in the fact that it's not that people don't want to support you, it's just that they don't know about you. And so what we want to do with this Black Biz Initiative is to make people known, is to not only just make them known from who's in your neighborhood, but throughout the state. Because if we create a more cohesive network of Black people who are doing great things, then we can share the resources. Now, I'm not telling you to stop doing what you're doing in your own neighborhood, in your own city, in your own town. I'm saying that our job is going to be to amplify that. So when I look at what we do and I say, okay, well, what should people get from us, right? Because when we say give it to the people, we said, okay, well, this is the question. What do you want to see in the events and education space for Black people? And when I say that, a lot of people tell me the things that they feel like that are missing. A lot of times people will say, well, I want this particular thing. And sometimes it can be self-serving, which makes sense because we're asking you, what do you want? But I would love to get some feedback from people to say, well, what do they need? Because sometimes people want stuff and they don't necessarily need it. But I personally believe that we are in a unique space with what we want to provide. There are plenty of startup resources throughout the state. And so that's why the 58 small business centers are there, and they reach all of the different 100 counties to be able to help you start. Then you have big companies that are there that'll say, well, listen, we want to help you to scale. And so by scale, they mean you're already making some money. And so you probably need a little tweak or a little investment in order to get you to that next level. But oftentimes what I've seen is that when people say scale, they typically are referring to companies that are product based and or technology based. And what if your business doesn't fit into either of those parameters? Does that mean that you don't deserve money? Does that mean that you don't deserve attention? No, it just means that you're not who they're looking for in order to be able to promote your business and to help you execute to get to your next level. So when I look at this, I say, well, the space that we fit in is the growth space. We don't have to help you start, even though we can. And we don't have to help you scale because you might not be ready for that yet. But a lot of the businesses that tend to come to us are in a growth period. You do need to tweak and fine tune some things. But what I've noticed over the years is that the things that people need to tweak and fine tune are often notoriety, often accolades, right? Often just people knowing about them and them tooting their own horn. So when we start to look at what we can offer, it is the connectivity to people that are doing what you're doing in other cities. It is the connectivity to you being able to facilitate training to other people, which can then enhance your business. And so when we look at that, we looked at this whole concept. So we've been a member of the Black Wall Street Forward movement with Forward Cities. It started last year in October, and we just concluded this particular series with them. So we were in the pilot group. And we were specifically over here in this Durham group. Now, throughout the state, they had Winston-Salem, Charlotte, Fayetteville, and then also Raleigh and Durham. And we tend to flourish in that Raleigh Durham area. That's just where we've done a lot of work at before, as well as in the Triad area of North Carolina, which will be closer to Winston-Salem, but just kind of right underneath it because we're in Greensboro. But we go all over the state. And so we have clients all over the state, which means that it's not just this focus in the middle of the state, but it's also those outskirts, those rural areas that may not always get the attention, which is why we try to focus on places that people are not necessarily going. Just because you're in a rural area doesn't mean that you don't need access to these resources. And so what we were able to do during this Black Street Forward, this whole movement was to help us reimagine what Black Wall Street would look to us now, right? Like, what does it look like now? And how can you then work with 12 people that are in 5 different councils throughout the state? And how can you grow your network? And how can you then present something to the community that would be worth them coming to, that allows them to understand the concept of Black Wall Street in our modern times? So what we came up with that was 2 different things. One, we did our event, which was just recently in March. And we had almost 100 people at this event. These people were there to understand what we wanted to do as far as reimagining Black Wall Street. But as far as give it to the people, we had already been doing this work. We started doing our Black Biz Summit last year, okay? And that was in August of 2022. So this was a natural progression for us to be a part of this Black Wall Street Forward, but also to be able to coalesce resources, which that's one thing that I would say that Give It to the People has always been good at, is not just thinking that it's just about us and our company, but that the real focus should be on how we can provide more value to other people as well. So out of Black Wall Street Forward came this concept where myself and specifically Kenyatta Hall because we were in the group together. And then Michaela Booker was also in the group with us. It's just we were divided into two groups. And in that, she was in a separate group, and then we were in our group. And we came up with the idea for our group that we wanted to do something where it focused on Black employee to Black entrepreneur. And what was so interesting about this is never meeting each other before, but sitting down to do what we call strategic doing. We were able to both come up with almost exactly the same idea because we saw where the gap was. And where is the gap? The gap is in creating something new and making sure that you have a very narrow focal point. And that focal point for us was, well, there are Black employees who would like to become entrepreneurs. So what Kenyatta wanted to do was she wanted to focus on doing like a big, gigantic series, right? And what I wanted to focus on was let's doing one big gigantic day where we can have people come together. And then if we wanted to do a series to kind of continue that. And we knew that because based on the funding that we would have and the sponsorship and, we didn't have certain things with this, but we did have funding to put on one event. So the event that we put on was kind of our kickstart into us saying, what can we provide to Black employees that want to become entrepreneurs? And so the one thing is that we recognize that there is a way to do business your way. And that meant that you didn't necessarily have to leave your job, but you could keep your job and you could do entrepreneurship on the side. You could say, well, I have this job and I'm going to use this job to fund my business. But what's the problem with that? And this is where I've been kind of in between all of these years. The problem with that is a lot of the courses that are being offered to help you start your business are often during the daytime when you're doing what? When you're at your job, which means that you can't attend those things. A lot of things that were offered at night. And that may also be a barrier to people because if you have kids, or you have something else to do, or you've worked all day, you might not have the energy to really try to invest in the evening. Now, that doesn't mean you can't. It just means that what we decided to do was provide an opportunity on a Saturday to give you a finite day and an amount of time for you to be able to understand that you can transition, that you can keep your job and you can do this business on the side, that you can transition from being part-time with your business to being full-time. But all of this is up to you and what your capacity is. So on April 22nd, we're going to be at Pioneers in Durham, North Carolina, and we're going to be hosting the event, Black Employee to Black Entrepreneur. Now, what's unique about this event is we have these people that are amazing at what they do. We have Sean Eaton, who works in real estate, and he sells $1 million homes. So if you're interested in possibly doing real estate, but you're also saying, well, look, I'm not sure how I can do this thing on the side, we chose people who do things that you've been telling us that you wanted to see anyway. Oh my God. So let me introduce you right now to one of our coworkers. Her name is Tammy. This is Tammy Faye Tambourine Brown. She works with us and she brings the enthusiasm. So Sean is there from a real estate perspective. Kenyatta is there because she works in the tech space. So if you said, well, look, I want to be a Black woman or a Black man in tech, she's the one who can help you understand how you can transition into tech. Michaela is there because Michaela has a vending business where that's something that you can do very quickly to be able to start to make money. And then you can still work your day job. But in addition, she also has a company that's called Wall Street Juniors where she works with the youth. So if you do have a child that is, with you and you said, well, listen, I want to see what my child can do. And this is something that you want to pass on. These are things that you can do. Now, me and my husband, Montro and Chisa, what we do is I facilitate training and then we do social media marketing as well. So if a person said, well, I'm interested in being able to work as possibly a virtual assistant, I want to do some things online because I know that I'm good at organization. This is going to be the event where this is not going to be a just talk about it. This is a doing event. And why do I say that? I say that because we have a panel, so they'll be able to talk to you about some of those things and talk to you about their journey. But in addition to that, you will be able to sit with them in those spaces. This space that's right behind you is what Pioneers looks like. And you will be able to really get into the nitty gritty. Not only that, what we're going to be able to do is provide you with a canvas that will help you to really see how you can do it and to get those ideas out of your head. Now, what's awesome about this is, again, we've been doing the work. So in us doing this for years and then seeing where we needed to fill this specific niche, we said, well, let's take you on a journey. Okay. And so this is kind of our timeline. So when we started in August of 2022, we said, okay, well, this is going to be our first Black Biz Summit in Durham, and we're going to be able to do this annually. But we also wanted to be able to travel this event around the state. So what we did was we said, well, what are some of the things that we can align ourselves with that are purpose driven, mission driven, and that also have set parameters of time that make sense with the demographic that we're trying to reach? So in October, we joined Black Wall Street Forward. Okay. Then we hosted our small business summit, which we do on an annual basis here in Greensboro, North Carolina. And typically we have, upwards of 200 or more people, but we kept it smaller this year because one of the things that we focus on is micro gatherings. And micro gatherings are smaller events, which allow you to get a little bit more time, a little bit more personalization, and also allow you to be able to do the mentorship, which we feel like is a key factor to success. Then we hosted another Black Biz Summit in Weldon, North Carolina, in Halifax County. And that was because we wanted to reach out to the rural area. We had a great attendance there, wonderful speakers. And we said, okay, well, look, this is something that we know that we can definitely bring around the state because obviously the concept is proven, right? And what we saw was no matter where we were doing this, that we were able to bring people out, right? And so like when you hear the bring them out, that's what we're able to do. So then next we said, okay, well, we're going to do our Black Employee to Black Entrepreneur. And that's going to be in Durham since that's where our Black Wall Street Initiative started. So I want you to be able to have something that you can come out to, that you can really truly see how you can make that transition, okay? Now, next, we're going to be doing our Money Matters Summit, which is going to be back in Weldon, North Carolina on the 21st. That's good because if you're up in that area, up in the northwest / east, because it's kind of this way, a little bit northeast of North Carolina, then you'll be able to come to this and you'll be able to get our resources that will help you with your finances. And that's also important because that day is a Friday. So we're going to have Department of Revenue out there. We're going to have Thread Capital as one of our sponsors. So if you said, well, these are some things that I need, then we'll have that for you. Okay. And so when we start to break it down and we start to see what's going on, we did our Black Wall Street Mindset event. We did that in March, right? And then we go down here and we go to our startup series. There's a startup series that is totally, completely free for you that will be online. And I'll be facilitating that. So that is something that's online. And then we're going to have our Financially Lit Summit, which is on a Friday as well, but it's in Greensboro, which puts you in the middle of the state. That's going to be sponsored by SCORE. And it's also going to be sponsored by Carolina Small Business Development. We're going to have the Military Business Center. And so if you're looking at government contracting, then this will be a good thing. And also Department of Revenue. So we wanted to give you things that were in different parts of the state for you to be able to attend. So even if you live in Virginia, if you live in South Carolina, then this gives you something that you can kind of come into this state and still be able to get the information, right? And so then let's see, we're also going to be having, and I think one of these dates is incorrect, but don't worry about this because we have a whole bunch of different things that are happening. But we have our marketing series that'll be online in June. We have our Women and Minority Business Summit that will be in Haw River, North Carolina, which is in Alamance County. And then we're going to have our Black Biz Summit again on August 25th in Durham. And then we'll have a Black Leaders Summit, which will be in the Triangle in fall of 2023. Okay. So these things are important because we recognize that women and minorities are the people that are oftentimes left behind and that need to be able to not only have the education piece, but also the networking piece and also exposure to exhibitors. So this is what we're going to do when we come down and actually we have a little typo right here. Don't worry about that, but that's June 10th. This should be June 10th is going to be our Women and Minority Business Summit. That's going to be in Haw River. And the biggest thing about that is that oftentimes people don't get to come to these conferences. So what we do is we make it so that hopefully if you're going to take a day off, it's totally and completely worth your time to be able to do that. And then August 25th is our big summit that we're going to be doing right back in Durham, North Carolina. Last year, we had about 20 different resource partners, and we would love to be able to do that this year. So we are going to open it up for people to exhibit, which means they're not going to sell. But if you're service-based businesses, we would love for you to be able to showcase your services to other businesses and people that can then become your clients. Okay. So this is one of those things where we're like, okay, well, we need to provide the actual services, but what's different, right? And so when you keep thinking about it, we said, well, there's a key component that's missing. So there's one of my favorite words is accountability, which means we're also going to be opening up a membership later on in the year. And part of that is the don't talk about it, be about it. Because what we start to see is that people don't have that accountability. And a lot of times, first of all, if you're paying money, you're typically going to be a little bit more accountable. But if you have somebody to be accountable to, you end up being more accountable. Business can be a very lonely road if you're trying to do it by yourself. And if you are a solopreneur, or if you want to say entrepreneur, mompreneur, whateverpreneur that you feel like you want to be, you often need a little family. You need connectivity. You need a collective of people that have been there, done that, and do not mind sharing the resources. And that's what we have here. And so oftentimes you'll have somebody that doesn't know one thing and then doesn't know how to get to that one thing. That's not what's going to happen over here. We will help you with the financing, and we don't provide financing. So let me be clear. But what we do is we say, well, look, let's get your paperwork together so we can have your paperwork. We want people to grow exponentially. We understand where there are some things that need to be adjusted. Okay. And so you can kind of think of this as like a chamber of commerce, but it's not necessarily. Because what happens is when people join chambers of commerces, they are there to advocate for your business, right? But they don't necessarily help you with the marketing. When you join a chamber of commerce, they're still there to tell other people that are other members about your business. But if you're not a member, then they may not tell people about your business. So what we provide for members is we provide a podcast so that this way people can know about your business, and then you get that interview for 30 minutes. And we do that podcast interview live, and we record it every Monday at 12 p.m. In addition to that, we help you with some of the things that you need for your publicity, which is really a big important factor because you want to look good and feel good about your business. And so through the years of experience, through all of the different Black creatives that we work with, not only can we help you, but we also funnel that money back into the Black community based on the service providers that we are using. So I hope that this gives you a clear indication of some of the things that we plan on doing to help you. And if this sounds like something that you'd be interested in, you can go to giveittothepeople.com, send us a message, okay? But we also wanted to make sure that you can know what events are coming up. So if you scan that QR code, you'll be able to download our events and see what's coming up and click on whichever link you feel like you want to come to, whatever day, and then you'll be able to register. We have a lot of things that are free and open to the public. But when we're talking about our membership, that is something that once you come to Black Employee, Black Entrepreneur, we will talk about that in depth, and then we'll be opening it up once we get to our next quarter of 2023. Okay. And so for us, it is about being able to help more people. And when you look at being able to help more people, the real goal here is to say, well, what is it that makes sense for people? What do people need? And by asking those questions, you get some answers, right? So Daryl, thank you so much for watching. He said, on my lunch listening, working and running a business. Love what you're doing, usually working when you go live. Well, I'm glad that you got to join us today, Daryl. And so that's one of the things that I think makes a huge difference, because when we're going live today, we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, and we're also on YouTube simultaneously. So even when you can't attend, you can attend because you can watch it at your leisure. And so when we start to do our trainings through our program, if you can't make it live, they will be recorded for you. And we already have a library and a great thing of resources to be able to help you grow your business. Now, we have some other things that we'll be throwing into this kind of package to allow our members to be able to have discounts, to be able to work with other businesses. But the real big thing about this is really taking into consideration that you need help. You need help. And I want to say this just so that we're clear. We are not a nonprofit, okay? We have a nonprofit, but I think that oftentimes people feel like, okay, well, you should do stuff for free. This is not what this is. This is us saying we have a skill set, we have connections, and we know what you need as a business. And so there is a fee that comes along with that. And let me just tell you so that you're not thinking like, oh my God, it's like this astronomical free. When you come out to Black Employee, Black Entrepreneur, it's $25. It's $25. I mean, If you're an entrepreneur, if you're an employee, somebody should have $25 from somewhere. You can scrape up $25 from almost anywhere to be able to come out. That $25 and the resource guide that I'm going to provide you with are going to be, when I'm telling you, that's worth the $25. So come out, but I want you to understand this is a day to work. This is a day where you will sit down and you can get those ideas out of your head. Nobody's here to steal your idea. We are here to provide you with what you need. So when you come out for that time from 11 until 2 p.m., you will get the things that you need. And if it's something that we can't provide you with, it's only because like we have no idea what you're talking about. Like unless you're just coming up with something totally completely new, right? But for the most part, those areas of business have been the things that people have said that they've had problems with. They want something that's quick to start up that they don't have to spend a bunch of money on. They want to get into the tech area because they know that it's a lucrative area. They want to do something with real estate, but they're just like, I don't know, what should I do? And they also want to do things that help with their marketing. So that's specifically the things that people have said that they need that we're going to be able to provide. And I also want you to know we do have access to people that can help you get capital for your business as well. So we'll be doing some more of those types of activities in addition to what I told you today. So listen, it sounds like a good idea to me. I want you to share this video with somebody, tag them, post it, put it on your own platform, get the link once it's done, and then just let them know that you're coming out, okay? Tickets are on sale now, so you can go to giveittothepeople.com, you can go to blackbizsummit.com, and you will be able to get those tickets. Now, what I'm gonna do really quickly is I'm gonna show you that even if you didn't scan, this is the link for you to be able to go ahead and download all of the events that we talked about, okay? So that's the link for it, and you just can take a screenshot of it or you can play back the video. And then this way you'll be able to go ahead and get that download of what we're offering. And then if you're looking for the tickets or any additional information, go to giveittothepeople.com. All right. And so this is to me where we say it's worth you paying for the information that you need. And you also want to say, I am tired of just getting this one paycheck and I would like to get money from somewhere else. And so if you want to get some money from somewhere else and you want to use your own brain and your own knowledge and you recognize that this job is not going to pay you more. Now you might get a raise, but you can raise yourself up. All right. So come meet Tammy. All right. Meet me, meet Montrell Brown, my husband, meet our great speakers at this event that's coming up on April 22nd, and just come out with the idea that you want to bring into the world. And let's go ahead and help you manifest this idea. And I want you to understand, we're not going to have like a whole gigantic business plan done from 11 to 2. All right. But we can have you help the ideas to come out and you can put it together and then we can continue to work on it. And we'll let you know about our program. Once you get there, we'll let you know about the membership so that this way you can make good decisions. And this is the thing. If you decide, listen, I don't want to do the program. If you say, well, listen, I like what you said, Chisa, and I just want this one day, that's cool too. You might not be ready to do more, and that's fine. But if you said, listen, I am tired of wasting my time and my talent, and I know that I could start making some money at least this year, and I can be in a new tax bracket by next year, then do that. I am not, and I don't want to say I'm not a salesperson because obviously I'm trying to sell you. But I'm also not going to try to force you to do anything that you don't want to, because I've learned in business that people are only going to do what they have the capacity to do, what they're willing to do. But I promise you, if you come out, you will get value. So I want to see you on April 22nd. We're going to be at Pioneers in Durham. And our Black Biz Initiative is to the point where this is a statewide thing. So I don't want you to think, oh, okay, this is only going to be a one time. No, this is going to be a statewide thing. And we want you to be able to use technology. We want you to be able to meet new people. We want you to be able to grow your ideas in your business. So Daryl said he's ready. You better be ready. I love it. So everybody else, if you're watching live or if you're going to watch on the replay, share this video with other people so that they can also understand this experience. And then we will do another one of these after we do the event, just so that this way it gives you the idea of what people thought about it. And then, what we're going to do next. All right. So you'll have your calendar down and I want to see you there. All right. Make sure that you always show up and show out and that you continue to give it to the people.